All right, asking New Yorkers if they will vote for a communist mayor.
Self-proclaimed Democrat socialist, some people are calling him a communist. Do you think communism would work well here inside of the largest city of America?
We're gonna go full communist. This is not gonna work out well.
This is enough of these old white men. It's time for a change.
Government grocery stores. Good idea or bad idea?
Where's that money coming from? Taxes?
You think New York City will fall if this guy is elected mayor?
Oh, there's no question. It's already barely surviving.
Today I'm here in New York City, and today we're gonna be asking the New Yorkers here who they're gonna be voting for their next mayor. Right now, just recently, a man by the name of Mamdani just won the primaries for the Democrats here inside of New York City. He's a self-proclaimed Democrat socialist who's running on ideas such as freezing the rent, $30 minimum wage, defunding the police, government-ran grocery stores, and free buses for everyone here inside of New York City. Donald Trump has came out and called him a communist, and right now on prediction markets like Polymarket, he has a 71% chance of winning this election next to his competitors like the current.
Yeah, he's actually kind of like dominating those odds right now. It's pretty impressive on the betting markets. Though those betting markets can be heavily manipulated. So you kind of have to be careful with the betting markets. So the betting markets, you know, somebody with some dollar hollers can purposefully sway the betting markets to make it look like somebody has more of a chance than they really do, and then get more media attention, and it's sort of like a cheap advertisement almost. So
Mayor Eric Adams, Curtis.
All right, let's get to the interview.
And why so?
Because he represents working people and is offering policies that counter the establishment and that resist the influence of billionaires over this city. And
tax the billionaires out of the state.
yeah, he's the working people's candidate.
What's your favorite policy of Zoran?
Taxing billionaires into
Yep.
non-existence.
What do you think about this guy potentially becoming the next mayor of New York City?
Oh, hell no. No, I don't like that guy, man.
And what do you think will happen if this guy wins?
I have no fucking idea, but I was here when Dinkins was the mayor, so I know bad times. I was complaining about Adams, but I would take him 4 more years than that guy.
This guy's wearing like a Comedy Central badge. You see, it almost looks like it was the first time he heard about Zoran. That guy, he's looking at like a TikTok of him.
Who would you like to see become the next mayor here in New York City?
Zoran Mamdani, of course.
Why so?
You know, I really like what he says about the rent freezes are a big one for me. City-owned grocery stores are also a huge factor for me.
How could that be a huge factor for you? Kroger's got margins at 1.8%, and it has some of the largest scale in the country. And their net margins are barely profitable.
I don't use the buses that often, but that's pretty cool for the bus takers of New York.
How do you feel that this guy could potentially be the next mayor of New York City?
Dude, we're doomed if he's mayor. I mean, we're gonna go full communist. This is not gonna work out well. And I've resisted leaving New York for many reasons over the years, but I think this is going to be the final nail in the coffin, and I won't be able to survive in the city with him. No way.
If this guy wins, you're leaving.
I'm going to have to. I mean, my business will be destroyed.
What worries you most about him being elected?
I'm worried about there being complete, total chaos, and our mayor actually promoting chaos. You know, promoting and allowing all the...
Yeah, but what chaos? Look at that lady in the background. She's like, ooh, this interviewer's hot.
all the protesters, all the peaceful protesters to do their thing, and it's going to be really scary.
This seems nonsense.
You know, there is...
Okay, I get it, the protesting. Oh, let's listen to these people. For some reason, I feel compelled to watch these people.
Here in New York City.
No.
What do you guys think about the ideas of defunding the police and a $30 minimum wage?
I think that's nuts. That would be so hard to maintain.
Yeah,
that would be ridiculous to maintain. I don't like the whole defund the police things. I think there's, if anything, fund them more, get training better when you
Yeah! Make this girl famous!
Fund them, where does that do?
Hold on. We must leave a comment. 410. 410. Make her famous. We like her. Now remember, you always have to upvote your own comment. Okay. Back to the video.
Government grocery stores. Good idea or bad idea?
Where's that money coming from? Taxes?
Yeah,
Where's the money coming from?
I
think
love
that's
this.
insane.
Who do you want to be the next mayor of New
No,
York?
go back to her.
I can't. Zohar.
Zohar?
Yeah.
Mamdani, why so?
already voted for him. So in the primary, yeah.
And what makes you want him to be the next mayor?
I think we need to switch up. I want someone young, ready to go, really changing and focusing on the younger generation and just really making the city, giving it something new. Como, we need something fresh, and we got to get him out.
Right here we have some Democrat for Mayor Zoran signs outside here in the East Village. Would you like to have a Democratic Socialist mayor of New York City?
Democratic as long as they're like for the people, I guess. Yeah, like.
Oh gosh, I think Democrat means for the people, so we're gonna go with that. Yeah. I don't need to hear from this. What's this guy? This guy's wearing a New York City. He looks like he's like this. He's got his concealed carry in his crotch, and he's like, this camera better not show my imprint.
And who do you support for mayor here in New York City?
Not that guy Zoltani, whatever his name is.
Zoltani? Do you mean like Zoltan, the guy who's gonna tell you your future? I don't want Zoltan. Or what's that? I forgot.
I used to like the governor Cuomo. I don't know about him right now to be a mayor. You know, one of the New York millionaires came out and he said that he would sponsor any like free runner, someone who's like from outside, you know, and maybe that would be a good option.
Really, so now millionaires are coming together saying we got to find somebody we can fund to make sure that this Zoran Mamdani guy doesn't win.
If he wins...
Yeah, I found it. Yeah, not that Zoltan guy. Not this guy. Anyone but that 25-cent quarterback Zoltan. Get it? Because it's a quarter to play the game.
A lot of business will go.
Jan, you've been on the channel a few times now, and now that the mayor might be potentially Zoran Mamdani, will you vote for him?
I can't imagine anyone I would vote for after him. I think I would vote for, that truck over there, over him.
I would vote for a truck before I vote for anyone other than the Zoltan.
No, put mildly, I will not be voting for him. My hope is that...
Wait, but now you're not going to vote for what?
Many other people will not be. The only thing I can really say is I am concerned. From what I've heard, only about 5% of New Yorkers voted for him. So, in the primary.
But that's a deceptive edit.
Anyone I would vote for after him, I think I would vote for, that other people will not be. The only New Yorkers.
There. Okay. This is not fair because the guy is referring to total population and they're throwing up round 3 of voting in the Democratic primary. So if you take 10 million people in the greater New York area, I mean, let's see, what's the New York population? It's gotta be like 8 mil. Yeah, it's 8.2 mil. So technically, if you take the city of New York, you don't even need to take the greater New York area. Just take the city of New York, divide into that, initially they were reporting 450,000 votes. We'll do both numbers here in just a moment. But if you divide that in, that works out to 5.4%. If you use the final count numbers, it's closer to 6.3%. The guy's actually right. So I think they're unfairly editing over this guy's what he's saying. He's probably one of the first to actually bring a statistic here and be kind of right about it.
Voted for him. So in the primaries tend to be low turnout elections, so fringe candidates do better because they have a lot of energy, and then the regular voting mass just doesn't. The hope is that a lot of different people coalesce behind Eric Adams because this is unacceptable. It's one thing to have Los Angeles or Chicago have some fringe, DEI mayor. But it is another to have an Islamist communist who's 32 and whose mom was a Bollywood millionaire director who has never worked a day in his life and was a failed rapper try to run New York City. New York City is not a city that we can sacrifice to Islamism or to communism. There's too much here, too much business, too much real estate. I don't know if it works the same way. I don't think people can just look past New York the same way and let it go.
And why do you think it'd be a bad thing to have an Islamist as a mayor here in New York City?
You want to look at an example of a Western city that's had a effectively Pakistani Muslim mayor. You look at London, right? And London has become unlivable, high crime, gangs, extreme prices. Only the very rich and very poor can afford to live there. That's effectively what would happen here.
Another one of Mamdani's policies is to defund the police and bring in a new group of police that would just be outreach and be helping people here on the streets. What do you think would happen to New York City if Mamdani...
I like this guy so far. I actually think he brings some interesting insights. Now, I'm not anti this. I'm not like pro the anti-Islamophobia stuff. Anti-Islam, I worry I'm like double negativing this. So I try to always put religion or race or all this stuff behind, but the logic of the guy beyond that portion seems to be the best so far out of everybody that's been interviewed here.
Does go through with another one of his policies to defund the police.
Portland, Oregon is what will happen.
They tried it. That's right. That's the same example that I used when I heard him say it. That's the problem. Look at what Portland did. They tried defunding the police. They tried legalizing drugs, and it was a complete disaster. And now they're trying to U-turn, and they're like, oh my gosh, we got to fund the police more. We have to make crime illegal again. We have to make drugs illegal again, because guess what happened? The criming got good.
Except with tremendously more crime. It's a much larger city. Pharmacies will close. Many stores will close. The same liberal white women that voted for him will be targets of...
Tom from MySpace in the chat says, Tom from MySpace for mayor. Let's go.
Both robberies and assaults on a constant basis. And then, only then will people realize that some of these changes are very hard to undo.
Yeah, he's 100% right. I like this. Let's fast forward a bit more. Who's this guy? I'm guessing he's Jewish. Not sure what gives it away.
Oh, he's a Christian.
So do you think Jews should be worried about him winning?
Yes, I think so.
Will you be voting for Adams if he runs again?
Whoever is the best one. I don't care who is the guy. As long as it's good for my safety and the safety of my city. That's it. It's good for business, good for everything.
Good for this guy. I like this guy.
I'm not looking for chaos.
Do you think government-run grocery stores is a good idea?
No.
What about defunding the police?
Horrible idea.
Let's go!
What do you think will happen in New York City if they do defund the police?
I think it will go... I mean, it's already a dangerous city. I think it will get tremendously worse. I think it's horrible for our kids. I think it's horrible for our elderly. I think it's just a horrible idea. I don't know why we would ever defund the police.
And would you vote for Zoran Mamdani?
Oh, definitely not. Oh.
Bro, that guy's a tourist. He ain't from New York. He came across the bridge from Jersey.
New York would be in bad shape if Mamdani got elected, for sure. I'm an immigrant, so I came here from nothing, and I was able to build a future, to give a better future for my kids. I come from a country that is pretty much social. You know, Italy is a pretty social country. It doesn't work here, you know. This is a capitalist country.
Well, I mean, that's actually a really good comparison, because the pigs of Europe are considered, this is offensive to these countries, but this was just the nickname that was used, and it's a good sort of moniker for remembering the sovereign debt crisis in Europe. But the pigs of Europe were considered Portugal, Italy, Greece, Spain. Basically, they were the countries that weren't contributing to the European Union, and their economies were kind of dragging down the euro, and they were leading to the debt crisis in Europe. At least in part, obviously, right? And so we went through fiscal austerity because you had these expansionary and growing countries like France and one of the reasons, by the way, why the United Kingdom Brexited, but you had France and Germany and their economies growing really well, and you didn't want to overstimulate those countries, so the ECB was stuck between a rock and a hard place because you couldn't overstimulate Germany and France, but you needed to stimulate Portugal, Italy, Greece, and Spain because of a lot of their social programs that unfortunately just led to lower tax collections and worse balance sheets. And then unfortunately you go through austerity and you can't even collect trash. I mean, look up like 2013 trash collection in Greece. It's a disaster.
Country, and Mamdani is trying to make, not even socialism, is trying to make a communism country. I mean, like, just go back where you were, you know.
What do you think about government?
I always think that's funny when people say just go back to where you were. Is he referring to like Mamdani leave the country? Because I'm not a fan of saying that, because this country is built on immigrants. But if he's saying go back to other countries where people have tried socialism and see the failures, that I can agree with.
And grocery stores, would that be a good idea?
Not at all. Not at all. That is totally wrong. I mean, it will not make any sense in a country like United States. I mean, I think it's wrong anywhere in the world, but United States is like, this country is capitalism because you can come here and become somebody. You can live a simple life and just live long, get your job and work for a good company, or you can rise the...
Dude, this guy is saying all the right things. I'm assuming this is his kid, and this isn't like a Diddy situation. The kid looks unconcerned, so I'm gonna go with this is his kid. What a great thing to say. This is a country you come to, you could work your ass off and become someone. Hell yeah.
The ladder and become somebody, you know what I mean? And hopefully give more opportunity for your kids. I guess that's what his parents did for him, right? So they moved from a different country to come to United States. They built a good wealth so he could be educated, and he's trying to basically eliminate what the parents had the opportunity to do in this country, which doesn't seem fair to me.
Who will you be voting for the election for the mayor here in New York City?
All those commies, we have a message for those commies.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Zoran Mamdani.
And why do you want to vote for...
Look at her! Look at her face! She was afraid to admit to that. Look at that. Watch this.
Mayor here in New York City.
Zoran Mamdani.
And why do you want to vote
She was afraid to admit it.
for Zoran Mamdani?
I think that his beliefs and what he wants to do for the city is I resonate with most of them, and if not all of them.
What's your favorite one?
She doesn't know his policies.
His he talked about making public transit and everything free.
Buses. He talked about buses and making them free. Oh gosh, let's go to someone else. Can we go back to the 410 people? Oh, who's this guy? This guy looks like he just escaped the hospital or something.
Makes you want to vote for Mamdani?
Well, if he wasn't running, I would have voted for Cuomo. But when Mamdani entered the race, it's there's enough of these old white men. It's time for a change. That's why.
What makes you excited about potentially having the first Muslim mayor here in New York City?
Why not? They had it in London.
Somebody in the chat, it's where's the IV stuff?
So, why not?
Would you like New York City to become the next London?
No, I'd like it to stay in New York City. But one thing about Mamdani, not since JFK, and I can say this, have I ever heard a politician speak that felt so honest as he did.
That is one thing that people like about Mamdani or whatever, is they're like, oh, he's just a nice guy.
One of his goals is to make this city pretty much Trump-proof by making enough money through other streams of revenue, like extra taxes on the rich, to not need money from the federal government.
Yeah, I'm up for that. Yeah, sure, yeah.
Would you like to see New York City get Trump-proofed?
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good. There's no ICE agents, are there?
Wow, 4K. Let's load it in 4K.
That's interesting about Mamdani is he's 33 years old. Yeah. He was born in Uganda, and now he's been here in the United States since he was 7 years old.
Yeah.
Do you think people should be able to run for office if they are not born here in the United States?
Okay, who cares? Yeah, let anybody run who has good ideas and stuff. All right. Oh, we're going to go back to something. Oh, maybe we'll get back to the blondies.
America.
I don't think communism really even exists. If you look at Russia, China, they're truly not communist.
What? It's called the Chinese Communist Party!
Just as capitalized, and they're controlling, and they're not even as squared as what you would expect communism to be by definition, so it doesn't really exist.
And some of his policies are such as government-run grocery stores are a $30 minimum wage, or they're going to freeze the rent. What will happen in New York City if this guy does win?
So going through each of those, so government is in no position to ever dictate these types of things, and every time it does and puts its heavy hand on the economy, it always makes it so much worse. I'm from Moscow originally, I would know. We ran from there once.
Yeah, he kind of looked like a Russian fixer a little bit.
Like to not do it again. But if you create government subsidized stores, you will destroy regular stores while jacking up prices of this stuff anyway. The amount of taxes you're going to have to increase to do this, he's published this budget is going to triple what it presently is. I believe from something like 20 billion, was it 20 to 60 billion, or 2 billion to 6 billion? I don't remember what it is. It's
At least the guy has some insights compared to everybody else who's given an opinion here.
tripled. So, but then as people start to leave, you're looking at taxing the people that stay even more, because the taxes go up and they have to raise them more and more and more because the budget keeps falling short. As far as real estate, people are going to just stop developing. They're going to start warehousing apartments. At some point, the government is going to be stuck owning some of these tenements, which of course is going to be more tax obligations, and the city is going to become Detroit. We know what happens. Detroit fell apart in a generation. Do we want New York to be another Detroit? What happens if the stock exchange leaves? What happens if all the big law firms leave? Because people will want to leave.
Yeah, you're getting, I think Citadel is partnering to create the Texas Stock Exchange to discredit some of the power of the NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange. Both, by the way, in New York. In case you didn't know, NASDAQ is in Times Square and the New York Stock Exchange is on Wall Street.
New York City will fall if this guy is elected mayor.
Oh, there's no question. It's already barely surviving. In the last 12 years, things have not been going well. All the various state bills, COVID, the city's not the same. Everything's very expensive. It's really only for the very rich and very poor. Young people move here, live like 4 to an apartment, paying their entire salary in rent and groceries. If you continue to move in that direction and take an even sharper leftist turn, plus you start importing various Islamist ideologies, the city simply can't survive. No one wants to stay here, and there's no money to be made anymore.
And one of Mamdani's policies, because he wants to essentially make New York City Trump-proof by raising enough money through other forms to but people that are making $1 million, will they leave?
Soviet Union also had a curtain or a wall, except it kept people in. Because the thing about communism is it's so much fun you can't leave, and it only works when
I love this guy.
people who produce, which is the minority, can't leave.
People who produce, which is the minority, can't leave. That's like a quote right there. Communism is so great that the actual producers aren't allowed to leave. That's a great clip right there, because Mamdani has been caught saying that he wants to take control of the factors of production, which would mean taking control of the people who actually function and do stuff rather than only take. Nice. Let's go. This Russian should run. He should run as Vladimir.
What this little moron does not understand is that this is America. People can just leave New York. He's gambling that they cannot move with their job, or they can't move with their family. He's sorely mistaken. And the other thing he has to remember is that he is the mayor, he's not the governor, meaning that people don't need to leave the state to avoid him. They can just leave the city. And the more he tries to Trump-proof it by charging his people more, the more those people will leave, the more monetary shortages he has, the more he must raise taxes, and the cycle will continue. He's more than welcome to try.
No, don't try. Don't try. Can we get more of the blog?
Why not advertise these things that you told us here? I feel like nobody else knows about this.
We'll try a little advertising and see how it goes.
Congratulations, man. You have done so much. People love you. People look up to you.
Kevin Paffrath there, financial analyst and YouTuber. Meet Kevin. Always great to get your take.